Hello students, very good morning. In this video, we will discuss about joint. Joint. Already you know movements in animal. What are the movements? Which are the animals that will move in different ways. That animals that are having different ways. Each and every animals is not a move in same way. So the movement, during that movement, the body or the parts of the organ or parts of the body will move from one place to another place. How the movements they are involved? With the help of the bone. Bone, they are present in our body. The present in our body is not only in single bone. It's not only in single bone. See, the bone the present in more than number of the bone. See that basically baby or the childhood, the present in 300 bone. But adult, now the present in adult present in 206 bone. This basic information you know very well. That bone is present in the bones present in our body is not an individual. At the same time, the one or more than bones will join. So, where meet that point? Which place will meet one or two bones? That meeting point, that particular point is called joint. So, the joint means nothing but the between the connections of two bones. That means we are present in one bone. They are present in one more bone. This like the present means not in use because this is a one organ. Just you are taking leg or hand. If you take that, you know the shoulder, arm, and the breast and fingers. So here present in so many bones that each and every bones will join. Each and every bone will connect the particular bone. Appo over bone connect agudhu. So here the meeting that point. This is called a joint. This is called a joint. Appo hand la irukke, leg la irukke. There are so many places that present in the joint. See, the point at which two separate bone meet is called a joint. The point is two separate bone. This is a separate one. This is a separate one. Two separate bone will join in particular point. That point is called joint. And see that depending on the type of movement, the hollow joint can be have three types. The hollow joint can be divided in three types. What are that? The first one fixed. The first one fixed. And second one slightly movable, and third one movable. See, these are the three types of the joint bone present in our body. What are that? Or which are the three joint bone present in our body? Means the first one fixed bone. This means is not movable. This is a not movable. This is not a movable. That means what? That's a permanent. That's a permanent. And slightly movable. That means what? Little bit. Little bit is not moving flexibly. The little bit. This is the little. And the movable, they are present in flexibility. They are present in flexibility. See, there are three types of the bone joint present in our body. First one fixed bone joint, and second one slightly movable joint, and third one movable joint. Here itself they are having answers. Just you have read this. The fixed means the permanently fixed there. That's not having any movement. The skeletal. The skull, you know, that's a skeletal bone. Skull. Head bone. See, this bone is not a movable. That's a fixed, permanent. That's it. See, the slightly movable. That means the little bit. The slightly means little bit. Movable. Movable means will move the any one directions. This is the flexible. Movable means flexibly. Will move in actively. Like that, on the basis of that movement will be classified in three types: the fixed joint bone, slightly movable bone, and movable bone. See, I will explain about in one by one. First one, fixed or immovable joint. Immovable. This the fixed is otherwise called in immovable. Immovable means what? It's not moving. Not only this. Same meaning. See, in this type of joint, no movement is possible between the two bones. In this fixed movable or the immovable bones, the present and two separate bone, impossible will move in between the bones. And the structure between the bone of a skull box are example of immovable joint. Before I told you now, the skull. This is a good example for immovable or fixed joint bone. And next one, slightly movable joint. Slightly movable means that's a little bit will jog that. Little bit only will move that. That means have only very little. That means partial. The partial. That means the one part. Or one part only. The movement occurs between the two bones. The joint bones are a rib and the breastbone, or between the vertebrae in the example for slightly movable joint. Rib and breastbone. Where present the rib and breastbone? Rib the present in chest part. This is the rib bone. See, you can easily identify who those are the present in linearly. You know that the good example in the marasmus affected persons, when you see that time you can identify how many rib bones are present in that particular persons, because of the 12 pair of the rib bones in the present. That's a chest bone. So the chest bone is present in like this. Chest bone present in like this. Like that. This is the 12 pair of the bones. So the rib bone, how many pairs the present in our body means you want to write the 12 pair of rib bone. Where present this? This is the present in chest, or this is the breastbone. And then see the freely movable joint. Freely movable. In this type, varying degree of movement is possible between the two bones. Between the two bones, various degree. Various degree means the 30 degree or 40 degree or 45 degree, like that. We'll move that. Yes or no? See, now the present in breast, you are rotating like this. How? Because of that's a movable joint. That's a movable joint. Because of when you see like that, this is a one position, and then just you are turning like this, and turning. So how much now you turn? That's a various degree. It's not a same degree. You not made it in 30 degree, or you not made it in 40 degree, or not you made it in 45 degree. That's a various degrees that will be move in between the bones. This is called in movable joint. This is called what? Movable joint. And then some bones that are listed on the basis of movement. See, they are having in basically in the 6 types. What are the 6 types that are present? I will explain about in one by one. See, the movable bones that are present in 6 types. What are that? I will explain about in one by one. See, in first one. First one that present in ball and socket. Some textbooks are mentioning socket. And the ball and socket. See, this is an example. This is the first type. So how many types are mentioned in 6 types? This is the first one. Where present that example in shoulder. Shoulder and hip. Shoulder and hip. The description and the mobility. Description means how look they present. What is the structure they are located. See, a ball-shaped end of the one bone articulates with a cup-like support of an adjacent bone. That means ball-shaped the present in one bone. Ball-shaped. That means you are drawing like this. ball shaped present in one bone, and then one more bone they are present in articulate with a cup-like structure. The how looks they are present in cup-like structure. See the main here itself. This is the mentioned in the ball shape. This is involved in cup-like. So here itself the present in the bone. Here itself the present in bone. That's that I mentioned in shoulder and hip region. Just to see the shoulder or top of the shoulders the present in cup-like. This is the mentioned in ball or cup-like bones that are present, and then they are connected in one more bone. See here the present hands. This is the one more bone is connected in the ball-like. This is the ball and shacket. The shoulder, hip, and the mobility. Mobility means the movable. The movement can occur in three planks. This joint allow the greatest range of movement. This joint allow the greatest range of movement. And then hink. Next one what? Hink. Hink. This is the elbow, knee and hanger. Where present this is elbow and knee and ankle. They are present. This is the cylindrical pattration of the bone articulate with the toe shaped and the depression of the adjacent bone. How look they are present means very simple. They are mentioned in cylindrical portion. You know that the cylindrical portions that present that movable movement is restricted to one plan. This joint allow be bending and straight line the only. It's not joint. They allow the bending. That's it. This is the bending and then straight line like that. See this one you have to understand it clearly means just if you have the textbook you take and read the textbook the page number 822 that just you read once after only you can easily understood that because of they are given in some table count. They are mentioned in 6 steps. This only now I am explaining that. If you have textbook just you have taken read that. In case if not having the textbook means just you pay your textbook piece and collect your books. After that you go through. Why means because of here itself will come in so many questions in for your exam. The 3 mark questions or 4 mark questions or 7 mark questions like that. The descriptive type of the questions may be asking here. This one I given the explanation means you understood but not you will not make a notes. You're not making a notes. That's the purpose I said this. Just you bring your book, after that you read, you can easily understood. Just I will read that. See and then pivot. Pivot, the spine and axis joint at the top. A round or pointed structure of the bone articulate with a ring shaped structure, a reduced ulna and then adjacent bone. That's a mobility. Movement is restricted to one plan. This joint allow rotate about its longitudinal axis only. So the spine and lateral axis joint of the top. This is and next one. And then condylite. Condylite means breast. Breast means this. This is the breast. Here, nama mani cut அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க பாருங்க தமிழ்ல அது. And similar to ball and shacket joint bone. The same ball shacket joint bone similar. But joint bone which much flatter articulate surfacing forming a much shallower joint. Much shallower joint. See the movement can occur in 2 planes. The joint allow the second greatest range of movement. Second greatest range of movement. The first greatest range of movement in shoulder and second one wrist. And then gliding. The spine articulating surface are almost flat and of a similar size. This is the similar size. So we'll ask the questions which bone or which one the present in similar. That means the small one. And the example just you write in the gliding joint. That's a similar. The gliding allow movement in 3 planes, but it is the several limited. That's a several limited. That means saddle. The thumb and shoulder and inner cap. One part is concave, turned inward, and the inner look like a shadow. And outer and the convex. See, just you see that inner word, the presence of the here inside. Then outer you seeing means that time you identify that's present in concave lens like that, and inner present in convex lens like that. And the see the synovial joint. Synovial joint. And next one synovial joint. the synovial joint is a joint which make connections between two bone consisting of a cartilage linked cavity and filled with the fluid. That means just you take in leg, the present in bone like that. The present in bone in the two bones is the joint together. How will join the two bones? I will draw that one. Just you understood that. See, just imagine this is a bone. See, this is the first one and this one in second one. Just imagine this, like the presence of the bone in between is not having any connection, means how is possible will work together. See, this is a leg. If you want walk means these bones want to join together. In case it's not joining means it's not possible, that persons will move or walk or doing any activities. Yes or no? So here present in connections like that. The three connections they are present. Three connections they are present. That is, you know that javu arundhuchu appdi solluvaanga. The fractures means the bone itself the present in crack. That's a fracture. But sometimes the presence of the jaw, this will broken. In case the bone itself the having any fractures means just you take a 14 days or 28 days. After that is automatically will join that bone. You no need the treatment. If you are not taking the treatment means that time also will join that. But it's not a uniform. It's not a uniform. If you need the uniform, you must want to take treatment. That's the reason after anything happened in the broken area, the hair crackers the present in the bone means that time we will put the knot cut or the mouth cut. Like that. Yes or no? See, in case here itself anything happened, here the presence of the jaws will broken or pure. In the three layer that persons want to make a surgery. It's not a connector. This is not a connector. You want to make a one surgery. So this is the connections. This is the three layers. This three layer only the main responsibility. The entire path will move. In case just imagine this not having, this not having, this not having. Just it's not possible. Will move that person is actively. At the same time, here present in this two layer is connector. This one only is not having means that person is not walking normally. That person want to carefully want to walk. Whenever want to stairs, want to walk in the steps means that time want to slowly want to walk. This one also. Any one layer, one tear means that is not a serious. At the same time want to take in more care. When you walk, when you take in any abjure or when you put a more effort or when you working or you going and coming, when whatever you doing activities, that time you want to take in more care. Like that. And then see, these are the most flexible type of joint between bone because the bone are not physically connected. Because the bone is not physically connected. That means in between the present in the fluid. In between the present in fluid. In case the presence of the fluid is want to maintain that level fluid. This fluid want to maintain. In case this level, this quantity of the fluid is reduced. Reduced means the presence of the two bone will crash. That time you feel in pain, leg pain, joint pain. You know that the family itself that any persons than oldest person, then more than 50 persons they are having means always telling in joint pain, like that. Why means because of that aged persons, the presence of the fluid is not segregated. That segregation of the fluid is reduced. So the once reduced means it's not possible will increase that. You have to maintain that. In case you are not maintaining that fluid means that persons who those are not maintaining that fluid, that persons only will feel that pain, joint pain. அதனால கிராமத்துல பாருங்க 50 வயசுக்கு மேல இருக்கிறவங்க எல்லாமே ஜாயிண்ட் பெயின் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. என்ன ரீசனுக்காக அதை சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னா இங்க இருக்கிற ஃப்ளூயிட் ஆனது அந்த ஃப்ளூயிட் அந்த திரவமானது என்ன ட்ரை ஆயிடுச்சு. அப்போ ரெண்டு போனும் க்ரஷ் ஆகும். அப்ப க்ரஷ் ஆகும்போது அதனால ஏற்படக்கூடிய வலி தான் அவங்களுக்கு. At the same time, the aged persons is the reduce the immunity power is not maintaining the immunity power. When will the reduce the immunity power automatically will affect the so many disease in easily. அப்போ எப்பெல்லாம் நமக்கு immunity power குறையுதோ அப்போ ஈஸியா disease affect ஆயிடும். And then the feature structures of the spinal joint. What are the ligament? This is the ligament here. This is called a ligament here. See the synovial fluid, articular cartilage, joint capsule. What are the ligament? A band of strong fiber tissue. This is the strong fiber tissue. Fiber means what? That's a thread like. Fiber means what? Thread like present. And to connect bone to bone. See that the joint connected bone to bone. And the synovial fluid, a slippery fluid with the consistency of air, white that they are connected with the joint cavity to reduce the friction. Now only I said to reduce the friction. And the value of the correct. And between the articular cartilage in the joint. Articular cartilage. அப்போ அந்த கப்பு மாதிரி இருக்கிற பாயிண்ட் ஜாயிண்ட் அடிச்சப்பனா அந்த இடத்துல உராய்வை குறைக்குது. And the articular cartilage, glassy smooth cartilage that is the spongy and covers the end of the bone in the joint, and to absorb shock and to prevent friction between the end of the bones in the joint. And joint capsules, a tongue fiber tissue that has two layers with the fibrous capsule lying outside the synovial membrane. The fibrous capsule help to the strengthening the joint while the synovial membrane line the joint and segregate synovial fluid. This classifications also having your textbook. You see the page number in 2 to 3. Just you take and read once you go through the points. See, let us the quick revision in today's session. The joint means the two separate bone will meet the particular point. That particular point is called a joint. Why you want to present the joint means because that organ want to move or that part want to function. See, on the basis of the joints, they are classified in 3 types. What are the fixed joint, slightly movable joint, and movable joint. Fixed joint means what? Immovable. That parts is not moving in between two bones. And slightly movable means what? One partially will move that. And movable joint, that means easily various degree will move that. What are the movable joint only the classified in 6 types? What are the ball and shed and hen, foveal, contrail, gliding and shadow. And the synovial joint. Synovial joint which make connection between the two bone consisting a cartilage lined cavity filled with the fluid. And which is now as the healthiest joint. These are the most flexible type of the joint bone because their bones are not physically connected but there will be connected in chemical. That's a fluid. And what are the synovial joint? The ligament, synovial fluid, articular cartilage and joint capsule. See, just this not understood. You seeing means that time is not understood this content. This content you have to understood means must you have to read your textbook that mentioned in 2 table column page number 22 and then 222 and 223. These 2 page number, the presence of the 2 table column you have to read and understood in very must. And then today's sessions you have to write in one test. Thus in second one, synovial joint bones. What are the type of synovial joint bones? The present that mentioned in the 2 to 3. This page number that having the table column. The table you have to read it, write once. Okay, this is the today homework. Thank you.